The other one got interesting though.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Whenever you're ready, we'll start with in-person questions.
All right, we're good. I'm not a big believer in long speeches. I mean, I'm kind of to the point about certain things. You know, if you are playing at this time of the year and you have to be motivated, then we got a problem already. I think the thing that you have to remember, in a game like this is you can't have any significant number of just throwaway possessions at either end of the floor. And I think that, one of the things that we've kind of prided ourselves on is on the defensive end is having very few of those. So our problem has been having offensive possessions that are wasted possessions. And I think that's kind of been a focus. I thought we wasted a lot of opportunities the other day. And so, we can't have 8, 9, 10 possessions where we stand and watch and we don't have a purpose about us. And so that's kind of where we are. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to do that, but both teams are pretty good at taking care of the basketball. I mean, we've been lower turnover teams in the league. I think they're going to try to do it to us. We would like them to have to, make a few more passes under duress, to try to make a few more of their scores, having to go one-on-one instead of getting a rhythm with a pass. I mean, they had a fairly high percentage of assisted baskets the other day. We'd like to kind of make them work a little harder for that. But I don't know that we can take away their space much more than, they're making shots with a hand in their face. You don't want to bail them out with fouls. You have to see early how the game's being called, and how disruptive you can be because of that, and read the game a little bit. It's two really good teams that might come down to who makes the least mistakes and which bench plays a little bit better. I think, they got a little bit more scoring from some other players the other day than we did. So it's little things. Yeah. Oh, butterflies come no matter what. I mean, I'm doing this 50 something years and I think I have butterflies in the middle of the regular season, because it's what we do. It's how we earn our living, and it's the fun of playing in games. But I think this is a little bit more just anticipation of the battle of two good teams. I mean, we're in it to play in playoff games. I mean, the whole regular season is supposed to prepare you for this. So yeah, I'm excited to get up and go play a game like this. I don't have any expectations. I really don't. It's a little harder in our league to get a feel for that. And this is not a criticism. It's just you have mixed crews and you don't have 80 something games and you have 30 something games. So you don't have as many trends as, as far as certain officials. That's neither good nor bad. It's just, I think it's funny. There have been some games recently that I thought would be called, reasonably tight because of the two teams playing. And at the end of the game, there was like 8 free throws and 7 free throws. So I don't know. I mean, you can practice it and, you can talk about it, but it's actual just the physical. Can you make a pass? Can you make a play under duress? And it's funny, you think a team's going well that way. And then we've seen some of these playoff games already flip-flop from one game to the next. And, it's sometimes probably a little bit mind boggling as a coach to, say, well, how come we handled this so well, 3 days ago and we didn't do it as well today? The only solace I get in all that is to watch other teams play and watch other coaches have the same issues and, go, okay, we're all in it like this together. So, it's human nature. It's, how your body feels some days, what you can anticipate. I think anticipation is maybe one of the better things of reading things before they happen. And I think that's what the best players do, and sensing, maybe where help is coming from. And as you get older and more mature as a team, you get better at that. We'll see.
Do you think that AC is going to maybe sort of bounce back and like have like a better response? And is there anything that you can do to maybe kind of help her sort of get going?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some things we can do to help her. I said yesterday to some of the media that one of the things I thought was we let Seattle get away with how they played her a little bit too much. I think we could have taken advantage of it a little bit more. Part of it is that she needs to be aggressive about it too. But having her take 2 shots is probably not a real good thing for us. On our good days, she's getting 7 or 8 field goal attempts. It's a little more balanced for us. So I think we have to do a better job of that. And then there's things we can do to help that. Anybody else? Zoom?
All right, good for Zoom. All right, we will start with Jen.
Hey, Coach. Elena said the other day in her post-game availability, that she probably wouldn't have gotten the assignment of guarding Stewie in the past, and she was kind of proud of how she'd improved defensively. When did you know that she had progressed enough on that end to trust her with that kind of big-time matchup?
It's funny because in some ways we had no choice. That wasn't a matchup with Stewie and Tino on the floor. That's not a matchup particularly for Shakira Austin. It's a little bit more of a matchup maybe when we play Elena and Maisha together. But, a couple of years ago when we had Emma Miesemann, they would have probably split time on Stewie. But I've always felt, and it's funny, I mean, what a player's perspective is, as a coaching staff, we've always felt that Elena has played well against Stewie, because she uses her length. She has learned on scouting reports how to take away, kind of first options from Stewie and make her go to some other things. And I think that's the maturity of a player, fitting into a defensive scheme. And so I think she's done a pretty good job on her in general, the way, but it's when you guard somebody like that or guard a team that's as good as Seattle is offensively, it's not going to be just about the individual. It's how we, fit into the scheme and making sure that if Elena is going to play her a certain angle or a certain way, that our teammates are in the right help position too.
And just sticking with that matchup, Elena and Stewie grab a lot of the headlines in this series. Do you feel like that adds to kind of the excitement around it to have not only 2 of the most versatile players in the game playing, but going literally one-on-one at times?
I mean, if I were sitting at home, I probably would think that. Where I'm sitting, I don't really think about it a lot other than knowing that that's the attention they're going to pay to her. And we've got to be able to, do something about their defensive scheme. And I know Noel's over there thinking about what they have to do to our defensive scheme. So I don't know, from a coach's standpoint, we would never use the word excitement. We would use headache. But I think from a fan's perspective, it's got to be a great allure to watch a game when you have 2 of the best players in the history of the league, going head to head for a series.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go to Nathan.
Good afternoon, Coach T. You've been in moments like this in the playoffs. What is your philosophy to stay poised, motivated, and calm in situations like this?
I mean, hopefully you've put in enough reps that that's the biggest factor. I mean, in any endeavor, whether it be sports or music or anything else you want to be good at, you're not going to be as poised or good as you can be unless you've had enough reps at it. Luckily, we have a fair amount of veterans on our team who have been through it before. We have a few that haven't, but you know, the reason a lot of these teams advance is because you have enough veterans to get yourself through it. I don't spend a lot of time, you know, hyping our team up. I want them to stay calm in these moments. And, you know, we try to approach every game in the same manner so that, you know, you don't have peaks and valleys. I think one mistake sometimes young coaches make is you get hyped up for certain games. And the reality is your team needs to be on an even keel most of the year and play what's right in front of them. And it sounds cliche-ish, but it really helps in the long run to approach things that way. And so that you don't get overhyped at the wrong time or, you know, make mistakes because you're trying to do too much. And we might have had a little bit of that in the sense that, you know, some of our younger ones get sped up a little bit, but that's also part of the learning process that we're going through too. We're not the same team as we were in 2019, but we have some different strengths and we're trying to play to them.
Best of luck today, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All set, Coach. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks.